Calvary Christian Eagles. At this time, coming out on the first baseline will be the non-starters for the Eagles. They're number 30, Jacob Biggio. Number 4, Andy Painter. Number 21, Angel Martinez. Number 17, Nick Cafaro. Number 35, Zach Oquist. Number 13, Josh Montos. Number 31, Nick Santo. Number 10, Abe Rosenblum. And number 15, Doug Hollinsworth. The starting lineup for the Eagles this evening, starting things off, will be number 28, Ty Hollinsworth, the center fielder. Batting second will be number 23, Keyshawn Fett, the catcher. Batting third is number 1, Dante Girardi, the shortstop. Batting cleanup is number 34, Eric Blair, the designated hitter. Will be back for tonight's starting pitcher, number 8, Irving Carter. Batting fifth is number 2, Jonathan Lane, the right fielder. Batting sixth is number 12, Jonathan Schroeder, the third baseman. Batting seventh is number 22, Manny Rivera, the first baseman. Batting eighth is number 7, Brandon Relevante, the right fielder. And batting ninth is number 3, Chris Romero, the second baseman. Also coming out of the field is the head coach, Gilberto Morales, and his staff. Now let's meet the non-starters for Jesuit. They are number 1, Jalen Miles. Number 5, AJ Nessler. Number 6, Dominic Capello. Number 7, AJ Karabenek. Number 8, Dominic Castellano. Number 9, Tyler Porter. Number 11, Cameron Alvarez. Number 13, Malachi Woodside. Number 14, Ryan Skelly. Number 16, Colin Spree. Number 18, Josh Bargula. Number 19, Alex Bryant. Number 20, Turner Thompson. Number 24, Josh Malice. Number 25, Justin Clark. Number 27, Christian Hamilton. Number 29, Aiden Morales. Number 31, Trick Russo. Number 34, Chris Sosnowski. The bullpen catcher, A.J. Vanderwerf. And the manager, Miguel Menendez Jr. The starting lineup for the Tigers this evening is off to be their catcher, number 2, Dan Lee. Batting second will be the left fielder, number 4, P.J. Grant. Batting third is number 22, Cole Russo, the first baseman. Batting cleanup is number 32, Randy Rodriguez, the third baseman. Batting fifth is the designated hitter, number 17, Henry Police, who will be batting for tonight's starting pitcher, number 12, Kevin Manasseh. Batting sixth is number 3, Joseph Casal, the right fielder. Batting seventh is number 33, Jonathan Shute, the center fielder. Batting eighth is number 1, Jalen Niles, the shortstop. And batting ninth is number 10, Randy Lalo, the second baseman. Also coming out the sideline is the coaching staff, William Martinez, Tim Walls, Ryan Stanley, Mike Svensson, and Ryan Pulver, and the head coach, Miguel Menendez. At this time, fans, we ask you to please stand for an opening prayer to be followed by the playing of our national anthem. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God, thank you for all the gifts you have given these young men. Help them to enter in this event with love, wisdom, and strength in their hearts. We pray that they will look to you in awe and worship. May they put into practice all they have learned in their training and bring to mind all the skills and planning from their preparation. May each of them be aware of your goodness in their lives, and may this goodness pour out of them as a witness to your endless grace. You, Lord, are their inspiration, their teacher, and their protector. Their trust is in you today and always. Amen. St. Ignatius of Loyola, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Welcome to Paul Straub Field at Higher Family Park at Jesuit High School, here for a matchup of a couple of powerhouses in the state of Florida in high school baseball. We have the Calvary Christian Academy out of Fort Lauderdale taking on the defending 6A state champion and nationally number 1 ranked Jesuit Tigers. Tonight we have a great matchup on a beautiful 60-degree night, clear skies here in Tampa. Tonight's matchup is two really of the nation's best pitchers. We have Irving Carter throwing for the visiting Calvary Christian Eagles, a top 20 junior out of the class of 2021, a mid-90s thrower, going up against the reigning pitcher of the year in the 6A class in Camden, Manasseh.
And on the mound, Camden, Manasseh.
The Tigers take the field tonight with a 6-0 record, an unblemished record thus far this season, coming off a 20-0 win over Blake High School, a divisional opponent last night. Earlier in the week, who did we beat earlier in the week? Who was our opponent a couple of nights ago? Jefferson. Early in the week, the Jesuit Tigers downed their longtime rival Jefferson High School 7-3 on a road game there. Here's how the Tigers will line up tonight. Camden Manasseh on the mound. Bennett Lee behind the plate. Cole Russo at first base. Brad Keylori at second base. Over at shortstop, Jalen Niles. Nick Rodriguez, swinging a .500 average bat, leading the district in batting average right now. Over at third base, B.J. Graham out in left field, coming off a 2-home-run performance last night at Blake High School. In center field is Jonathan Shoup, and in right field is Joe Casal. In attendance tonight, one Joe Girardi here, seeing his son play for the Eagles. Joe, now the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, and these Calvary Christian Academy Eagles will be playing tomorrow night at the spring training home of the Phillies over in Clearwater at Spectrum Field against the Clearwater version of Calvary Christian. And his son Dante will be playing there tomorrow night. Probably how they got a chance to play on that field. So leading things off for Calvary Christian tonight, Ty Hollinsworth, the center fielder. And Manasseh looks in, faces a small firing squad of radar guns, goes into his windup, fires it in for strike one. And another fastball fouled away straight back. 0-2. We have a radar gun set up, folks. We are not getting function on that right now. We're trying. We're having technical difficulties on it, so bear with us. And the 0-2 comes in. Down the middle, taken, strike three.
Next up, number 3, Keyshawn Fred, the catcher.
And the second hole hitter, the 2-hole hitter is Keyshawn Frett, another .500 average hitter. The catcher. And into the windup from Manasseh. Fires it, swung on and swung through. 0-1, strike one. Another fastball. The wind up, and it is off the knob of the bat. You could hear the crack of the bat off the knob. And it went to foul territory on the right side, but it is called a hit batsman. And that's going to bring up Dante Girardi with a runner at first and one out. Into the stretch as Manasseh looks over, kicks, fires, and it's over for strike one and a fastball. No signs being given by the third base coach. A modest lead at first base. Manasseh checks him. Comes set. Knee up, arm up, and he twists over a curveball taken for strike two. And Manasseh comes set for the 0-2. Fires it. Another curveball misses just high. The 1-2 to Girardi. On its way. Swung on and fouled back over the press box. Good healthy cut on a fastball. Up and in. Well-placed pitch. And a good job of fighting that off by Girardi. Eric Blair, the designated hitter, a left-handed hitter, awaits in the on-deck circle. Manasseh, 9 pitches thus far, 7 of them strikes. Girardi calls time. Lots of noise from the Jesuit dugout tonight. And the 1-2. Called strike 3 right over the outside corner. Perfectly placed fastball. And that's strikeout number 2 for Camden Manasseh.
Designated hitter number 34, Eric Blair.
And Eric Blair, the left-handed hitting designated hitter, comes up, the first pitch. Fastball in there, strike 1.
It's about 2 off. So that's probably 90.
And that one comes in. I get a range on some of these. It's about an 88, 90 mile an hour fastball from Manasseh. The 0-1 swung on and chopped high and foul. Caught by Cole Russo about a step into foul territory from first base. And that's going to shift the count to 0-2. And the 0-2 swung on and a foul ball straight back.
Anybody read the story about this dog in Tennessee that was barking in the corner and telling him to shut up? Awakened him, all of a sudden he realized that tornadoes coming, he got his feet down the cellar and the dog wouldn't do it here.
I'm sorry.
He said,
Because I have a
the
number
house
for
right
you to
now,
check it.
It should just be able to sit there.
Okay.
Try to get them.
well, at the end of the feeling, I know. But if you're, let me go.
Okay, still working on our radar gun here and not having the best of luck with it. Appreciate the efforts of Mark Thompson. The 0-2 with 2 outs just misses low. It's going to move the count into a 1-2 count on Eric Blair. still has runner at first. Oh, he had him leaning, and he's safe on a pickoff. Holy cow. Great move by Camden Manasseh. The runner, Angel Martinez, who was courtesy running for the catcher, Keyshawn Frett, was leaning to second base. Cole Russo got the throw, plopped it down, and must have been a split second late. Foul ball off the left field line. And Manasseh almost got him a free out there with the runner leaning to second base a couple of pitches ago. And now he has a healthy lead again at first base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The kick, the fire. Inside corner, taken, strike 3. Three looking strikeouts for Camden Manasseh here in the first inning. And we have no runs on no hits and 1 hit batsman in the top of the first. And out to the mound comes Irving Carter, number 16 player in the nation, the class of 2021, as ranked by Perfect Game. One of the few players that actually has a perfect 10 ranking or grade by Perfect Game. Throws mid-90s and has a long baseball future in front of him. Due up, Bennett Lee, B.J. Graham, and Cole Russo. And we are ready to start the bottom half. Bottom half of the first inning, and Bennett Lee steps in, leading off things for the Tigers. Irving Carter stands 6'3", 200 pounds. And he has called, the umpire has called a ball on Irving Carter. There are, it was almost like a bent over, a little bit of a dance move or something. He has some pauses and some bending movements that he does in his delivery, and the umpire has stopped the game before even one pitch has been thrown in the bottom half of this first inning, and he has awarded Bennett Lee ball 1 on what I guess he terms an illegal movement by Carter. And without seeing a pitch yet, Bennett Lee stands in against Irv Carter for the 1-0. And he misses low and away with a fastball. 1-0. We will not have radar readings tonight, folks. It is simply not functioning. The 2-0. Taken, strike one over the inside corner. The wind up, the pitch. A cutter misses just outside. That is a good pitch. That has a sharp break on it, and it is indecipherable from a fastball. This kid's got a great set of pitches. His 3-1 on the way, and it is popped foul by Lee, well out of play down the right field line. That's going to fill up the count for Bennett Lee. And Irv Carter stands in for his sign from Keyshawn Frett. In the delivery, a cutter is taken over the outside corner for strike three. That is going to be a very tough pitch to handle. It has a late darting action to it, and it is not able to be picked up by his arm motion or his delivery. And B.J. Graham lines one to center field over center fielder. Hollingsworth gets it with a diving catch. A nice piece of metal on that one for B.J. Graham, but it's going to result in an out. Graham, with 2 home runs last night, has had to go back to the dugout without crossing home plate for the first time in 3 at-bats. Now Cole Russo stands in. And these 2 juniors will face off against one another, and they've done so in the summertime as well. Gotta think we're going to be seeing more and more of that cutter from Irving Carter. And the empty count. Fastball over the outside corner for strike one, taken by Russo. Russo stands in. Carter in his motion, and he misses low, taken, ball one. The future Miami Hurricane stands in, gets his sign, goes into his windup, and drops a curveball in. Taken, strike two. A vast array of pitches, great command of them. A bright future for this young man. We have a great pitching matchup here tonight. And Russo stands in, 1-2. He gets the delivery, and he swings through it. It's blocked. Fielded by Frett, tossed to first base, and he's out on a drop third strike. So Irving Carter answers the Manasseh call of 3 up, 3 down with 3 up, 3 down of his own. And the Tigers go 3 up, 3 down with no hits, no runs, no errors, and nobody left on base. And it moves us to the top of the second inning. And starting the top of the second inning for Calvary Christian is Jonathan Lane, the right fielder, 5'11" junior. First pitch from Manasseh, a fastball in there for strike one. He is on tonight. And Manasseh not quite as busy as usual in his mannerisms, just standing in all business tonight. Just off the outside corner. Ball one. Lane, a utility fielder, plays some infield, some outfield, and bats fifth, and he pops one foul out of play down the first base line. Waiting on deck is Jonathan Sherub, the 6-foot sophomore third baseman. And Lane receives the 1-2, called strike three over the inside corner. And we don't have a ball in play yet for Calvary Christian. As up stands the 6-hole hitter, Jonathan Sherub, the third baseman. And the sophomore looks at Manasseh, and he gets the first pitch. It misses high with a fastball. Misses high, 1-0. Scoreless tie here in the top of the second inning. And Manasseh right over the inside corner, and Manasseh stares at that one for a while and says, how far inside was that? Because that was called a ball. We are at 2-0. And Sherub gets his third pitch from Manasseh. Now that one called strike one over the inside corner. There is not much of a difference between among these few pitches here. That fastball is popped foul behind the press box. Those first three pitches, there couldn't have been 6 inches of distance between their destination there. 2 were called balls, 1 strike. This last one made it easy. It was a foul ball, so that's strike 2. 2-2 from Manasseh. High and tight, full count. On deck is first baseman Manny Ramirez. And the full count. Strike 3 taken down the middle. The interesting thing about these 5 strikeouts thus far from Manasseh is that all of them are looking. And Manny Ramirez, the 6'1", 215-pound junior, stands in against Manasseh. And he misses with a slider outside. Sorry about the faulty radar gun here tonight, folks. We thought we'd have it, but we don't have it working tonight. Next pitch is high, a fastball, up at about the letters, and that's taken for ball 2. On deck is Brandon De La Pena, the left fielder. But the 7-hole hitting Manny Ramirez now has a 2-0 count with 2 outs in the top of the second. And Manasseh gears that one up but misses high as well. And that's 3 balls and no strikes. Swung through. He had the green light, and he gets a fastball by him. 3-1. Lee relays the sign in, and Manasseh delivers, and that one just misses inside. And that's going to be a base on balls to Manny Ramirez, and up will step Brandon De La Pena, the Eagle left fielder. Brandon, 6'3", 165-pound junior, will stand in against the Florida State Pitcher of the Year last year, Camden Manasseh. Manasseh fires it in, taken, strike one, right down the middle. Well, Manasseh's done a great job of getting ahead of hitters. He's thrown 21 strikes and 11 balls, and he swings through that one for strike two. He goes 0-2. And not much of a Steelers lead over at first base. Manasseh kicks, fires. Nice job receiving by Lee, but that's going to miss low, 1-2. Manasseh checks the runner at first. And he strikes out a sixth Calvary Christian Eagle looking.
Once again, the second inning, the Eagles stand to right.
Well, a nearly identical inning in the top of the second as to the top of the first. And we have a 0-0 scoreless tie as Irving Carter is going to come out to face Rodriguez, Politz, and Casal. And the bottom of the second inning, and Nick Rodriguez steps in to face Irving Carter. First pitch fouled off his ankle. Nick Rodriguez leading the Tigers with a .500 batting average. He's just been a base hit machine. Next pitch just misses outside. And we've got a 1-1 count for the hot-hitting Nick Rodriguez, the junior third baseman. And there's a strike taken over the inside corner. Almost a quickened delivery there by Irving Carter. Went up to his kick and then got rid of it, almost accelerated the motion through there. He bounces it to the third baseman, who's going to have it dart off his glove, and Nick Rodriguez is going to get on an error.
Number 17, Politz, who doesn't take it.
And Henry Polite steps in. First pitch misses outside. And the 1-0 pitch from Carter. Swung on and foul tipped into the catcher's glove. And so that's going to be 1 ball, 1 strike to Polites, receiving from Carter. The 1-1 on the way. Misses down and in, 2-1. And Rodriguez is safe, stealing at second. Actually, you would score that advances on a wild pitch. And we're going to have Keyshawn Frett and Irving Carter having a few words as they've got a 2-1 count on the designated hitter, Polites. And now Nick Rodriguez in scoring position at second base. And it misses outside with a cutter. And now it's 3-1. Center field cheating a little bit to the pull side. And Carter in the stretch. A long, long look. And Polites calls for timeout. And we have a 3-1 count now to the 5-hole hitting Polites. And Carter kicks, fires, swung through by Polites. So now we've got a full count. And Carter checks Rodriguez and steps off. Here comes the 3-2. Fouled away by Polites. May have been a ball low and away, but too close to take, and Polites does a nice job of staying alive and fighting that off. Let's see what Carter has in store for him here. Full count pitch to Polites. Here it comes. And it is taken, a check swing, ball 4. It was high up at about the letters, and Polites held back, and he draws the walk, and that's going to bring up Joe Casals. Well, the Tigers have started off the bottom of the second inning, putting much more pressure on Irving Carter than the Eagles have yet put on Camden Manasseh, as Jesuit has runners at first and second, the first 2 batters of the inning. And nobody out. Rodriguez reaching on an error by the third baseman, and Polites on a full count walk. And Joe Casals steps in. Infield is in. First pitch, he shows bunt, holds it back, and it gets away from the catcher. Both runners advance, and that is ball 1, and now runners at second and third with nobody out.
Worth 2 you brought.
One ball, no strikes. Casal fouls it straight back. Politz at second base. Rodriguez at third base. And Joe Casal steps in with a 1-1 count. And misses high. The 2-1 to Joe Casal. Need these runs in against this pitcher if you can get them. And he pops it foul over the press box and evens the count at 2-2. We've got the infield in, a 2-2 count. And Carter fires it over. Nice block by Keyshawn Frett, the catcher. Certainly saved a run, although this backstop back here, this brick wall back here, often plays havoc on visiting catchers because it ricochets and the carom comes back rather quickly, and you have more time to catch a stealing runner trying to advance home. But it's not often known by once-a-year opponent. And here comes the full count. And it is popped straight up. First baseman has a beat on it. And he squeezes it about halfway between home plate and first base, and that's out number 1. And the runners obviously stay put.
Number 33, Jonathan Shoup, the center field.
And up steps Jonathan Shoup, the center fielder, with the single best walk-up song in Hillsborough County. As the chorus from all the fans and all the dugout, Snoop Dogg's Shoup. From the old hip-hop tune, Drop It Like It's Hot. And Shoup, any way to get these runs in. Infield is in, 1 out. When you get Manasseh on the bump, any run is a huge development. Misses low, 1-0, and Carter looked like he wanted that one. Jalen Niles in the on-deck circle, and thus far, Irving Carter has made it to the 7-hole hitter, hasn't given up a hit, and has 2 men aboard though. He misses low, 2-0 to Jonathan Shoup. Jalen Niles in the on-deck circle has been a hot-hitting bat, as well as a sure-fielding shortstop. They are going to intentionally walk Shoup to get to Niles and get a force at every base.
Bases loaded, coming to plate number 1, Jalen Niles, the shortstop.
Bases full, 1 out. And Jalen Niles up at the plate against Irving Carter, the number 16 ranked 2021 player in the nation. He delivers just outside, and here comes the ball right back. And Irving Carter was there to cover as well. So a good job of holding up by Nick Rodriguez. That ball comes back very quickly off this short brick wall behind home plate. And out comes Morales to talk with Irving Carter.
They've got brakes on that. That's when you get it's on the other side.
any way you can get a run or two in here would be huge. Because thus far, the only Jesuit fielder that really needs to bring his glove out to the field is Bennett Lee, as there have been no balls hit in play for the Eagles through 2 innings. So let's see what Jalen Niles and Brad Keylowry can do with bases loaded against Irving Carter. A long look in for the sign. And the 1-0 pitch is on the way. Swung on, and a drooping line. It is a drooping soft liner off the glove of the third baseman. A very astute play by shortstop Dante Girardi to then get the deflection, send it home, but not in time, as Fret could not hang on and get the tag down.
I'm going to take Brett Keylowry. Second base.
And that is scored as a hit. And Brad Keylowry steps in and takes ball 1 outside. That was an excellent play by Dante Girardi at shortstop, just not in time. The 1-0 to Lowry is tapped foul. Now 1-1. In this situation, you'd just love to get as many runs as you possibly could off such a good pitcher. And right now, a little bit frustrated. The first time you really saw it from Carter there is just not getting that call on that one that missed just outside. And in this situation, you can just tell he needs a break somewhere with the top of the lineup coming up. The 2-1 to Lowry. And there's that cutter. If you're asking me for my advice, he needs to throw that more often. That is quite a tough pitch. It's got a very late darting break to it. It doesn't break a whole lot, but it moves it 6-7 inches down the barrel, and any baseball mind knows that that's going to take a ball on the meat of the bat and put it on the handle of the bat or the end of the bat. Brad Keylowry's been a very tough stick lately. A very, very tough out. And he's got him 2-2 right now with 1 out and the bases loaded. Just misses low and outside. At third base is Police, who walked. Shoop intentionally walked, and Niles with the soft pop-up single just off the glove of an outstretched hand of the third baseman to bring in Nick Rodriguez for the only run of the game thus far. And here comes the full count. Carter kicks, fires, and there's that cutter, but it misses upstairs, and that's going to walk in Politz, and the second run for Jesuit. And up steps Bennett Lee.
Second place for 2, Bennett Lee, catcher.
Bennett Lee has been called out on strikes in the first inning in his only at bat thus far tonight. First pitch Misses outside. That was that same cutter, but this one's not right off the outside corner. That's a good foot outside. Carter in a world of trouble right now. And the 1-0 is popped foul. Sliced off the first base line out of play.
Tough stretch for this pitcher. Bases loaded with these three guys up.
And you got Shoop at third base. And Lee calls timeout. Lee not known to bunt in what could be a squeeze situation. He's not really one known to do anything but swing away. Carter kicks, fires, misses low and away, and it's a 2-1 count. That is now 43 pitches for Irving Carter, who's thrown 23 balls and 20 strikes. He's given up a hit, but he's had a couple of errors go against him. Against his team, rather. And the 2-1. That is a textbook cutter. Started right down the middle. And Lee swung, and by the time his bat got to it, it hit off the end of the bat and tapped foul. The return throw from Fred to Carter. Carter wasn't looking for it, and zipped right by his ear as he reached down and picked up another ball back behind back behind the pitcher's mound. Thank goodness that was off its mark. And now it's 2-2 to Bennett Lee. The pitch, and he's called out on strikes on a pitch that clearly looked too high. That was, it looked like it was up at the letters. Wow. Well, Carter he got some help on that one, but things don't necessarily end up rosy here. He's got B.J. Graham, who 2 of his last 3 at-bats, the ball's gone out of the yard. He had a line drive out to the center fielder his first time up, and he comes up with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and he swings through a cutter for strike 1. Jumped on the first pitch last time. That was a smart call there to throw him something off speed the first pitch, and they got the result they wanted. Carter comes set, fires and hits B.J. Graham's right elbow, and that's going to bring Shoop in. And Cole Russo to the plate. That's going to bump the score up to 3-0 Jesuit. There is action in the bullpen. And Cole Russo is going to come up with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and Irving Carter just looking for any way he can get out of this. Cole Russo struck out on a drop third strike in the first inning. The pitch, a high chopper to first base. It's gloved by Ramirez. He steps on first, and that's going to end the inning. So Irving Carter gives up 3 runs, and it surely feels like that was a discount, because it seemed like it could have been a whole lot worse than that. So after 2 full innings, it's Jesuit 3 and Calvary Christian Fort Lauderdale 0. Top of the third inning here at Higher Family Park in Tampa, and Camden Manasseh comes out to the welcome confines of a 3-run lead and fires the first strike over, taken, fastball down the middle. And it is popped up in foul territory to the right side. 3 of them headed over there, and nobody's going to be able to get that one just inside the fence. Although you had Lowry, Casal from right field, and Russo from first base, all converging on it.
But he was just here.
And Christopher Romero, the number 9 hitting second baseman, now has an 0-2 count. And he pops that one up, foul, straight back over the press box, trying to avoid the fate of the prior 6 outs, which were all strikeouts called. Manasseh with a 3-run lead and throwing like this looks pretty darn rosy for the future here. And there's the first swinging strikeout on a changeup down in the dirt. A nice play by Lee. They throw it around, and there's out number 1. And we're back to the top of the lineup now. And Ty Hollingsworth, the center fielder, steps in. His first time up, he struck out looking. And the windup and the pitch and a slider swung through for strike 1. Misses low on a fastball. If you're going to miss with your fastball, that's a great place to miss. Down about mid-shin, right around 90 miles an hour, and here comes his 1-1 pitch, and there's a check swing, but it looks like he went, and yes, he did. A great slider from Manasseh, and he looks like he's turning to that pitch now here in the third inning, now that he's been through the lineup once. And all they really got to see was his fastball for the most part. And that slider misses down in the dirt. Nice block by Bennett Lee. And it evens the count at 2-2. And Manasseh this time goes over his head with his hand and glove, and he strikes him out looking on a fastball in the outside corner. And up steps Keyshawn Frett, who was hit by a pitch his first time up tonight. And that is 8 strikeouts for Camden Manasseh. And the 2-out pitch. Ooh, misses inside, but misses the strike zone and barely misses the elbow of Keyshawn Frett, the leading hitter for the Eagles, the junior catcher. A slider misses down in the dirt. And now Camden Manasseh walks around, takes off his hat, and collects himself a bit. Falls behind 2-0. And Calvary still looking to put a ball in play, really. They've reached base, but just haven't put a ball in play yet. Swinging, strike 1. The 2-1 misses low and away.
How was your strawberry shortcake? After you eat too hot? you were going to take it easy.
No, yesterday that was my lunch.
It's 3 balls and 1 strike. Fastball in there. Swing and a miss. Full count, 2 outs. Here in the top of the third. And Manasseh fires that one over. Taken. Strike 3. Mid-thigh, outside corner. Surely can't take something like that with 2 strikes.
He's over there standing in the corner.
And Manasseh hops off the mound and greets his teammates as who couldn't be excited about this, the first 3 innings he's put in tonight. It doesn't typically go a whole lot better than that at any level of baseball. If it's 1988 and you're in the Carolina League and playing for the Durham Bulls, well, Crash Davis would hate this since it's a bunch of strikeouts, and those are not are not democratic. One of the best baseball movies ever. I'd probably go with Major League being the #1 baseball movie ever. And for the Jesuit Tigers here in the bottom of the third, we have Nick Rodriguez, Henry Polites, and Joe Casal. And these were the guys that came up and threatened Irving Carter last inning, and Carter's going to come back out to the mound after throwing 48 pitches thus far and having what he probably hopes is the worst inning he has in a long, long time last inning, as he loaded the bases with no one out, and the Tigers made him pay for it and played it 3 runs. You have to think could have scored more. Not really from hitting the ball. There were walks, an error, hit batsman, and up will step Nick Rodriguez, who reached on an error by the third baseman on a ground ball that bounced off his glove and really didn't have much of a chance once it did that. And Carter taking his final few warm-up tosses.
Is he here with the other gentleman who's not president?
He's the president now at Straight.
And the throw from Fret down to Romero, and high fives all around to Carter from his infield, and Nick Rodriguez up to the plate. Nick Rodriguez has been a opposite field base hit machine through the first half dozen games. The first pitch fouled back by Rodriguez. Light breeze blowing from right field to left. Bottom of the third inning. And that one's popped up to the left side. Third baseman under it. Squeezes it, and there's out number 1. And up steps the designated hitter, Henry Polites. And Polites drew a full count walk last time, the first pitch. And that is rifled down the right field line. That's going to be extra bases. It's a ground ball past the first baseman. Back in the corner is the right fielder. Here comes the throw. Into Romero at second base. It gets by him. And Polites in safe at second base with a double.
Number 3, Joseph Casal, number 2.
And that's going to bring up Joe Casal with 1 out. And Joe popped up to the first baseman, his first time up. And that one misses inside, and Polites is going to advance to third base. And Casal sees the 1-0 pitch, and he's taking his cuts. Fouls that one off the catcher's mask of Keyshawn Frett. And that evens the count at 1-1. Joe Casal sees Irving Carter's wind up in his pitch, and it's right back to Carter. He checks the runner at third, falls down, but gets back up in time to throw it to first base and get Casal out. He played that very well. He had time on the comebacker to still fall down, check the runner. Well played by Carter. So alert base running by Polites and not getting caught in the rundown there. He's still at third base, 2 outs, and Shoop up to bat. Shoop drew an intentional walk last time. First pitch misses high, 1-0. And that is pitch number 55 for Irving Carter, one of the nation's best pitchers in that junior class, graduating in 2021. Ranked number 16 in the country by perfect game. The 6'3", 200-pound junior.
I got such a confident scoreboard out there, there's no way to be able to go down and do it for myself. A lot better than his grandfather.
And Jonathan Shoop awaits the 1-0. The kick, the pitch, and a cutter is swung through. Strike 1. Again, I say, well, I'm not Irving Carter's pitching coach, but I can tell you this much. I would be calling that pitch very often if I had that. There's a fastball. Swinging, strike 2 to Shoop. And Carter with 1 ball. 2 strikes on Jonathan Shoop. And he's got Jalen Niles awaiting in the on-deck circle. And Keyshawn Frett does a nice job of blocking an outside fastball. And it blocked it right down the third base line outside to a left-handed hitting Shoop. Really no way for Polites to advance there. And the count's going to go to 2-2. Shoop's got lots of speed, so even a slow ground ball he could beat out. And he swings through a cutter, and that ends the inning with Polites stranded at third base. After 3, it is 3-0 Jesuit. We may be without audio for a little bit here, folks. We have to take a quick break, and then we'll be back, but we'll keep the video going. And the first pitch of the top half of the fourth inning to Dante Girardi is put in play, and a soft liner into right center field is going to amount to the first hit given up by Manasseh thus far. It's going to bring to the plate Eric Blair. Who struck out looking last time. And Manasseh in the stretch fires it, and it's fouled straight back. No balls, one strike to designated hitter Eric Blair. Manasseh's 0-1 is tapped foul behind home plate. And it's going to be 0-2. Okay, so they've had a hit now. I can talk about it. That was quite a run by Camden Manasseh to start this game through 3 innings. Struck out 9 batters. All but one looking. And didn't give up a hit. Had a couple of base runners, one on a walk, one on a hit by pitch. And it was a sight to behold. And hadn't given up a hit until that last swing by Girardi. And so now he's got a one-hitter. And the 0-2 is fouled away. You wonder what these guys out in the outfield in a game like this, you got to be ready. You just never know when someone's going to get the barrel of the bat out there and put barrel to ball, and it's coming right at you. But for the first hour or so of this game had to be boring for Casal, Shoup, and Graham. And the 0-2 misses outside, 1-2. Manasseh flips it over to Russo. Thought he might catch Girardi unaware over there, but he's safe. And another throw over to first base. Russo, no tag there. Girardi really doesn't have much of a Steelers lead here. You might have heard of his dad. His dad is over in the Calvary section looking on. Pretty neat to see big league manager here. And there's another foul ball from Eric Blair. Now, Blair beating himself up a bit here. He should be feeling pretty good about himself. Manasseh has sat down 9 of his teammates thus far. And so if you can keep fouling balls off, you might get a mistake. You might get one of those that droops into the outfield, or you might get a line drive somewhere off the meat of the bat. And there's a ground ball down the first base line. There's a ground ball down the first base line, but it is not clear why the umpires have directed Girardi to go to second base. Because it looks like it was a foul ball. I wonder if they're saying Manasseh did not come set and they called a balk. That is something that was disputed by opponent coaching a few games ago, where Manasseh was the third base coach had said he wasn't coming set. I wonder if it's the same thing here. But either way, there's a runner at second base with nobody out and a 1-2 count. Manasseh kicks, fires, and there's that looping line drive, but Jalen Niles able to get under it snags it, and there is the first out of the inning.
Number 2, Jonathan Lane, right fielder.
Guys throw this hard, just get the bat on it. There's a lot of green grass out there. There's a lot of room for base hits to sneak through. Maybe this time through the order, the Eagles may put the bat on it a few more times. He lays off a high fastball, and it's 1-0. That's pitch number 58 for Camden Manasseh. He's almost evened up the total of Irv Carter, who's at 59 for the Eagles. And Manasseh, here in the top of the fourth, has given up one hit, and that was a single to Girardi, who now stands at second base. The 1-0 to Jonathan Lane is swung through, high fastball, strike one. We're going to work on this radar gun thing. I don't give up that easily. The one we were using tonight, we just weren't able to get the signal strongly enough from down there to up here, but we will figure that out. It's 2020, you know. Oh! And a cutter misses just outside. The home plate umpire is vehemently disagreed with by our stadium announcer, Mike Letting, here, if you heard him in the background. And the 2-1 from Manasseh. And that is popped to right field. Casal looks like he's under it. Girardi is tagging up. Casal gloves it. Fires it to third base and not in time. Girardi able to advance to third. A good play by Joe Casal in right field. Hit deeply enough and enough toward the foul line to move Girardi over.
Number 12, Jonathan Webb.
And Jonathan Sherab, the third baseman, will come up. He, you guessed it, he struck out looking the first time. 0-1. And that one was right over the inside corner. Right over the inside corner. Ball one. 1-1. And that's a sharp ground ball to the shortstop. Knocked down by Miles. Fires it over. Caught by Russo, who misses the tag on a very alertly sliding Jonathan Sherab. And out comes Miguel Menendez to dispute the call. But I think they had this one right. I've got a good vantage point. I don't think that Russo's swinging arm down at the sliding runner actually made contact with him, and that's going to score the run. But the umpires are going to confer on this. The home plate umpire, the first base umpire, and the second base umpire all coming together on this. And they agreed with me on that one because they are going to all come together and arms out, saying he's safe. So that's going to be an errant throw by Niles, and that's going to be a run scored.
This guy shouldn't be looking at what he should be watching the guy and make sure he got it. So how can you make that call?
Number 22, Taylor Rivera, third baseman.
And Manny Ramirez comes up. Manasseh a little extra something on that one, and that's strike one. Very alert base running by Dante Girardi to get one on the board against Camden Manasseh here in the top of the fourth. Fakes the steal, and Ramirez fouls it straight back. Has a couple of words for Manasseh. as he strode in front of the plate after following through on that one. No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 of them away thus far. Camden Manasseh, 0-2. He kicks, he fires, and he swings through it, and the snap throw gets by Russo. Doesn't matter. The third out was the strikeout. And in the top of the 4th inning, that is 1 run on 1 hit. There was an error, and 1 runner left aboard. So we will now go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and Irving Carter headed back out there. 59 pitches into this, he's headed out there to face Niles, Lowry, and then back up to Bennett Lee here in the top of the 4th, or the bottom of the 4th. All right, and Irving Carter heads into the windup. And there's that cutter in for a strike. Jalen Niles stands in, having singled on a soft line drive over to the third baseman's just off his glove a couple innings ago. And Irving Carter is interesting to watch. He will sometimes double kick his legs. Sometimes he will speed up his delivery. Sometimes he'll slow it down. He is a very deceptive pitcher. And it'd be tough to hit if he just stood up there and went into a regular windup without varying anything and just throwing his lower 90s fastball and this killer cutter. And there's that cutter, but it misses low. And that's going to move the count to 3-1 to Jalen Niles. And if you walk Jalen, it's as good as a double. He has paid his dues as a reserve for some time. He did a lot of courtesy running for Lee last year and stole more bases than you can count. Fills up the count here with a called strike 2. And Jalen headed to Florida A&M next year. He has earned his spot at that shortstop position. Hitting very well, and he chops one to second base. Better hurry up. He gloves it, fires it over, and misses it. A errant throw And that's going to put Jalen Niles at second base in scoring position on what should have been a routine ground out. Boy, Irving Carter's going to wish he had that out here in just a second when he's got to worry about Niles on the base paths. Bradkey Lowry walked his first time up, and looks like they're going to bring the corners of the infield in. He shows bunt, pulls it back, and a nice play by Fret to almost catch Jalen Niles a little too far off second base. You got to like what you see from Keyshawn Fret behind the plate. A stocky kid with a strong arm, very alert, constantly positioning his defenders. He's got the first baseman in, third baseman in, and Irving Carter checks Niles just to make sure he is not drifting too far off second base. It looks like Lowry's going to bunt. He squares, does not offer, and the pitch misses outside, 2-0. Lowry, a junior, who's been hot hitting lately. And there he takes a big whack at that one and fouls it off Fret's glove. That's going to move the count to 2-1. Irving checks. Niles at second base, kicks, and there's the bunt. He's got it down. Carter picks it up, tried to hold on to it, and just basically spiked it into the ground. He knew he didn't have the play. That would have been if Niles had broke for third, that would have been a very good heads-up play, but that's going to be ruled an error. Actually, no, that's going to be an infield hit for Lowry. A long visit at the mound for the Eagles, as here we are with what must feel to Irving Carter like a lot like the bottom of the second inning. But we are in the bottom of the fourth, and we have runners at first and second, nobody out, and the top of the lineup up. He's had good going against Bennett Lee tonight as he's managed to get 2 strike threes by Bennett tonight. Not a common occurrence at all. I don't know if it ever happened twice in a game last year. And the first pitch misses low, ball 1. And a swinging foul ball down the third base line for Lee.
Defensively for the Eagles now playing right field. Coulter.
And Bennett Lee stands in for the 1-1 with the corners are in. Runners at first and second. And he misses just inside with that cutter. Bennett Lee's seen a lot of Irving Carter's pitches tonight, but one thing he's certainly seen is a lot of that cut fastball. And Carter in the stretch. Fires, and it is chopped foul again. A great at bat here between Bennett Lee and Irving Carter. Nobody out. And Bennett on that cutter as he fouled that one off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And neither of these guys backing down. The 6'3", 200-pound junior looks in and prepares for his 75th pitch of the game tonight. Time called after a long look at Niles, and Bennett Lee had stood in there long enough. Carter kicks, fires, and Lee lifts one to left field, a looping liner that has caught a diving catch by Brandon De La Pena, and that was a superb play out in left field. A superb play.
Number 4, left fielder, B.J. Graham.
And in stands B.J. Graham. BJ has some of the most beautiful, effortless appearing power. He will just have a very smooth swing, and the ball will take off and head over the right field fence and be out of here before you know it. Saw it twice last night. Ball 1 low. And the 1-0. And there's that cutter, and that's in for a strike. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And BJ rips one down the line foul. Cole Russo awaits in the on-deck circle. Runners aboard at first and second, 1 out. A ball and 2 strikes on B.J. Graham. And Carter misses low and in. And the errant throw over his head, but the shortstop there to field it. And Fret, that one got away from Fret on that one, but no ability to advance. Errors have really cost the Eagles tonight. It's been a very competitive game, but for a few mistakes here and there. And BJ comes in, stands tall in the left-handed batter's box with a 2-2 count. And he fouls it off his own ankle and stays alive. Well, I tell you, Irving Carter is getting through Jesuit hitters, but nobody's making it easy for him. He is having to earn every single out. None of them appear to be easy. He's now thrown 80 pitches. And this will be the 6th pitch of this at-bat to B.J. Graham, who has lined out to center field and been hit by a pitch. Calls timeout after another one of those extended pauses from Irving Carter. Whoa, that one gets away from Carter there. By the motion with his hand, he's pointing to his own chest saying, yeah, that's on me. It looked like he was trying to throw a slider or something, and you could see it just got away from him. And the runners are going to advance on a wild pitch there. But that speaks to all the foul balls. It's really difficult to square up either of these pitchers, and so you're seeing so many foul balls tonight, and here he's in this long at bat trying to find something to get BJ out. Infield in, and he misses down and in, and that's going to be ball 4, but it gets away from Fret. Niles comes in on the wild pitch. Graham moves to first. Lowry moves to third. And I believe Carter's going to move to the bench.
Number 31, Nick Santo. By the way, for Virginia, Jonathan Wayne went over to play third base, and Jonathan Schwartz went over to play first base.
And we've got a pitching change now. Nick Santo is going to come in. Nick Santo comes in to pitch, and he'll face Cole Russo, Nick Rodriguez, and Henry Poliz. And stadium announcer has dialed up Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline. Be a good walk-up song for a number of the retirees here at the game tonight. It is 4-1 now. As Cole Russo stands in, he's had a drop third strike out, and a ground out to first base. So he is due for a hit here. And Nick Santo misses outside, ball 1. Really tough. It's really tough to get these Jesuit hitters out. Lots of foul balls. Lots of long at-bats. Just tough to get through this lineup. And Cole Russo takes one in the back lower back, and he's going to be aboard, and that's going to load up the bases for Nick Rodriguez and Henry Poliz.
Number 32, Nick Rodriguez. Third baseman, Cole Russo goes down to first base and will be hit by 2.
All right, bases loaded, 1 out, and Nick Santo has walked right into a buzzsaw here. That one comes right back off the backstop after getting by Fret. And Santo has fallen behind Nick Rodriguez, 1-0. And Santo and Fret need to talk this over. They don't have their signal straight with B.J. Graham on second base. And the home plate umpire thinks they've talked long enough. Nobody, I haven't heard any banging garbage cans or anything like that. Nothing bulging from Nick Rodriguez's shirt. No buzzers that I can tell, any wires or anything. So I think they can just put their signs down and go. The umpire's in the way of B.J. Graham and Nick Rodriguez seeing each other anyway. And a down and end cutter gets a swinging strike from Nick Rodriguez. And a high chopper to second base. The transfer to shortstop. Back over to first, and the throw is not in time there. So they get the force out at second base, but Rodriguez able to leg it out at first base and get the run in as well. And that's going to bring up Henry Poliz. But not before there's going to be a little bit of a conference at the mound from some of the fielders with Nick Santo. But at this point, we've got runners at the corners, 2 outs, a 5-1 lead here in the bottom of the 4th, and Henry Poliz, who has walked and hit a double down the right field line.
You're in the 5th grade? 6th.
And Santo gets the signal, comes set, kicks, fires, and Poliz grounds it into right field, and that's going to be an RBI single. And he jumps on the first pitch, and that's going to be his second hit of the night. That's going to move the lead to 6-1 for Jesuit. And Joe Casal comes up. A curveball misses outside. Casal has popped up to first base and then hit a hard ground ball right back at Irving Carter. And this time he hits one hard off the glove of the second baseman. Around comes Nick Rodriguez. He'll score. Heading into third base. In time is Henry Poliz, who slides, and the ball rolls. Is it out of play into the dugout? No, it's not. Looks like the pitcher backing the play up actually got to it before it went into the dugout. And so the runners are going to stay put at second and third. Nice hit by Joe Casal.
Number 33, Jonathan Shoup, the center fielder.
And up steps Jonathan Shoup, who's been intentionally walked and gone down on strikes. And there's strike one looking. As the lead is now Jesuit 7 and Calvary Christian 1. Another strike, and that looks like a cut fastball in there. And a really beautiful curveball there, and that's going to be called strike 3. 2 men will be left aboard there. Tough to do much with that. And we'll see. Does Camden Manasseh come back out now? It's been a long inning there.
The score now headed to 4 complete. Jesuit 7, Calvary Christian 1.
Well, we'll be back in a moment, folks. Camden Manasseh back out to the mound. He is 67 pitches into this, 46 strikes, 21 balls. Left fielder Brandon Della Pena comes in, pops it up to the right side. Cole Russo ought to have it. Nope, he's called off by Lowry, who makes the grab, and that's one down. And in steps Chris Romero, who swings through the first fastball offered by Manasseh for strike 1. He has struck out swinging tonight in his only trip to the plate. And there's strike 2, that time looking. Manasseh's at 70. Misses up and in, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Beautiful, crisp, clear, 60-degree night here in Tampa. And Manasseh gets a pop-up straight in the air. That's going to be either Niles or Lowry. Niles is the one that gets it, as Lowry backs off at the last moment. Nice job with the pop-up pyramid here.
Treat mills like they're all yours.
And now, the top of the order, Ty Hollingsworth, comes up, and he has gone down on strikes looking twice. This time he pops one foul. And Ty is probably do anything to get into one from Camden Manasseh, as he's had his number so far tonight. Second pitch is a curve ball over the outside corner, taken for strike two. And again, Ty Hollingsworth is facing a two-strike count against Camden Manasseh. And he swings and misses. And that's going to be a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Eagles, as Manasseh picks up his 11th strikeout of the game. All right, welcome back, folks. Doug Polites here at Higher Family Park, announcing Jesuit Tigers versus Calvary Christian Eagles, and we are in the bottom of the fifth inning. Jesuit enjoys a 7-run lead, and Jalen Niles comes up. He has singled and reached on an error. He's taken strike one, he's taken ball one, and misses outside. 2-1. This is Nick Santo, who came in relief of Irving Carter and is now 14 pitches into his relief effort. And that's going to be ball two. Now ball three high. 3 balls, 1 strike for Jalen Niles. And he draws a walk. Bradkey Lowry comes up. Bradkey has walked and then reached on an infield single on a bunt down the third base line for one of the Tigers' 5 hits tonight. And up steps Lowry. First pitch is popped up into the air. First base side. First baseman under it. And Jonathan Lane grabs it. There's one away. back to the top of the lineup to Bennett Lee. And he takes high, ball one. Bennett is still looking for his first hit tonight after hitting a couple of doubles last night at Blake. And he chops it foul on top of the Jesuit dugout. And I see some action in the Jesuit bullpen. I can't make out who it is yet. The 1-1 count. Niles on his way. The catch, the throw, off target, and Niles is safe. The ball flies into center field. And Niles, fast as he is, scoots to third base. It looked as though the catch was made, but just in swinging his arm into the air, the second baseman lost the ball, and it went into center field.
How many errors they had? They had 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what did we get?
And Bennett takes a ball and a strike, and it's a full count now. And hangs tough by chopping another foul ball into the dugout. Count remains full, and he's going to see his 7th pitch of this at bat. And he's going to draw a walk. That's really, for Calvary tonight, that's one of the problems is they've whether it's an error or walks or it just this Jesuit lineup is not very forgiving if you just spot them base runners. Courtesy runner Dominic DiCarlo coming in for Bennett Lee. And now there are runners at the corners. B.J. Graham stands in. And the first pitch, BJ slaps a single into right field. In comes Jalen Niles. And that's an RBI single on the first pitch by BJ Graham.
This guy's ball's kind of flat, too.
And Cole Russo up. Takes strike one. Misses outside, well outside on that one.
He's asking you to fall into the same group with everybody.
1-1 change.
You got to familiarize yourself.
And Russo pops it high in the air into center field. It's tracked down there by Hollingsworth, who makes the grab, fires it into third base, and everybody stays put. And that's going to be 2 outs. And that's going to bring up Nick Rodriguez, who has reached on an error by the third baseman. He has flown out and reached on a fielder's choice. And he fouls it away.
Did you see that?
I saw the result of it. I didn't see it happen.
You got 2 balls thrown at him.
DJ got seen.
Six walks on the night for Jesuit. Really, there's no such thing as an earned walk in the stat book, but that's exactly what these are. These are long at bats. They're foul balls mixed in, not chasing bad pitches, forcing the pitcher to sort of battle it out with him, and they just sort of win it by attrition. And those base runners have, by and large, come around to score. Jesuit now enjoying an 8-1 lead with Nick Rodriguez at the plate, and he bounces one right up the middle, and that's going to bring around to Carla. And Graham's headed to third base. The throw's off the mark. He's in safe. That's an RBI single for Nick Rodriguez.
Hank could end it with one of those balls down there in the corner.
Knock one out against the scoreboard. Hit one of the big oak trees.
And up comes Henry Politz, who's had a good night hitting the ball tonight. He drew a full count walk early on, then doubled down the right field line, then had an RBI single to right field. And he stands in and takes ball one outside. And now the runner's at the corners with 2 out. And misses again, up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Kicks and fires, and Politz takes that one over the outside corner for a strike. The 2-1. He misses outside, 3-1. He's thrown everything off the plate on the outside corner here. Or sorry, just frankly outside. 3-ball, 1 strike count on Politz. 2 outs. And it is now a high drive to right field. At the wall, at the wall. Secure the cabin for departure. Henry Politz has been cleared for takeoff. And that is going to walk off the game. Wow, what a finish. What a finish. A 3-run home run from Henry Politz that was sky high and just kept going back, and the right fielder just ran out of room, made a nice dive, a nice leaping try over the fence, but couldn't come up with it, and that is going to do it. Jesuit wins this one by mercy rule, 11-1. Happy to do this for you, folks. Happy to bring you the game tonight. This is Doug Politz, obviously a proud papa tonight. Good night, everybody.